We as ADB need to incorporate digital into our DNA. We also need to do more to help the region accelerate its digital transformation. Together, we can emerge from the pandemic stronger, more inclusive, and sustainable.
Welcome to DigitalxADB. This is the Asian Development Bank signature event that brings together technology and people. I'm Carolyn Cabrera from the Digital Innovation Sandbox program. Today until the end of the month, get ready to be inspired and challenged with DigitalxADB's main sessions on digital infrastructure, work, economy, and government. A Tech Expo features the latest technology with partner vendors and startups, while the Digital Experience Gallery showcases ADB's best technologies. And all of this 100% virtual on our innovative events platform. I am proud to say that DigitalxADB is a collaborative effort of 3 ADB teams. The Digital Technology Unit of the Sustainable Development and Climate Change Department, ADB Ventures of the Private Sector Operations Department, and the Digital Innovation Sandbox program, plus other teams from the IT department. I'm truly delighted now to introduce ADB President Masatsugu Asakawa, who will open DigitalxADB.
Welcome, participants to DigitalxADB. Digital technologies are a powerful driver of change, and the pandemic has dramatically accelerated this pace. To support our developing member countries, ADB is firmly committed to incorporating more digital into our operations and the way we work. During a very challenging 2020, digital helped ADB to start remote work, respond to urgent and long-term needs of our DMCs, and reach record levels of commitments. Let me highlight today the continued importance of digital across our work. First, let me discuss the role of digital in our operations. The key to achieving ADB's vision of a more inclusive, resilient, and sustainable Asia and the Pacific is accelerating the digital transformation of our projects. That is why, in 2019, we established the High-Level Advisory Group on Digital Technology for Development to guide us. 1 in 6 ADB projects are now being led digitally, and the number is growing. By leveraging digital, we can improve the efficiency and impact of our projects and also respond to our clients' rapidly changing needs. Our DMCs also need support to close the digital divide and expand opportunities from digital development. We will continue to empower them through strategic investment, knowledge, and policy support on digital in infrastructure, government, economy, and other areas. Now, let me turn to our private sector investments, where there are many opportunities for ADB to support the great potential of digital. As the vanguard is ADB Ventures, which aims to raise $1 billion in equity funds in support of the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. ADB Ventures has been making equity investments in early-stage technology companies addressing climate and gender in emerging Asia. These are young companies with fresh approaches to difficult problems, such as fintech companies improving communities' climate resilience. Clean tech, sustainable agri-tech, and circular economy investments await on the horizon. Let me now discuss digital in our work. Thanks to collaboration across ADB, we completed real-time ADB IT reforms with the modernization of the 40-year-old mainframe and the LIBOR transition to alternative reference rate for non-sovereign operations. ADB's digital agenda is underway to optimize business processes, strengthen cybersecurity and data governance, and drive digital innovation, all through a one ADB approach. The recent International CIO 100 Awards affirm we are headed in the right direction. To further support our staff in the area of digital, I am pleased to announce the launch of two important initiatives this month. First, the ADB Digital Fitness Program will provide a Netflix-like experience for learning about new digital technologies. I encourage everyone to sign up. And second, the first iteration of our new data ecosystem, ADB's integrated data ecosystem, will be an excellent first step toward achieving a single source of truth for data. Let me close by stressing the importance of supporting continuous digital transformation and innovation so that we can navigate today's challenges and shape the future of ADB and our DMCs. DigitalxADB is an opportunity to reflect on the progress we have made, to share best practices, and challenge ourselves further. I wish you productive discussion ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, President Masa, for those remarks and for sharing how continuous digital transformation is driving innovation in ADB's operations, investments, and in our work. Now we move on to our keynote speakers. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our first keynote speaker, Dave Wright, the Chief Innovation Officer of ServiceNow. He is one of the world's most innovative people from one of the world's most innovative companies, providing customer service solutions. Dave will be sharing with us his thinking on digital transformation. Over to you, Dave Wright.
Hello, I'm Dave Wright, Chief Innovation Officer here at ServiceNow. And we're really excited to be supporting and partnering with ADB. And one of the great things that's come out of this partnership is this fantastic opportunity to deliver this keynote and share with you some of my thoughts around trends that I'm seeing in the industry and how I think they'll affect us in the future. I think most trends that get talked about fit under the umbrella of digital transformation. Although digital transformation itself is an interesting phrase. Transformation implies that there's a start state and an end state, but in reality, it never really ends. It's something that's been happening since we first moved from accounting ledgers to spreadsheets. And it continues today because there'll always be technological advances, but it's how we use them that's going to really define what our business becomes, and more importantly, how it survives. Now, more than any other time, digital transformation not only has the capabilities to change businesses, but to create business, to actually drive opportunity. We're now at a point, you see, of massive decentralization. The current trend in cloud computing, the mass migration to software as a service, and solutions like the rise of gig economies, that allows the freedom for work to happen when, where, and how it needs to. This, coupled with the rise of new technologies like artificial intelligence, process automation, connected assets, even the mobilization of the enterprise, that's going to provide massive opportunities to look at how all of these areas are implemented, governed, and controlled. So at its most basic level, digital transformation is done to improve productivity, to simply take technology and apply it to an existing process to make a business run more effectively. But it can also be used to create new business models, like moving into direct to consumer, or to reimagine the experiences of employees and customers, or maybe even to develop new sales models. But most importantly, more importantly than anything else, it can be used to drive change. Changing how we think about how we work, changing how we think about the talent that we have access to now, and changing how we think about social responsibility and the effects that we have on the environment. Now, I speak to a lot of companies every week, and it's interesting to see how they're all starting to transform. So car manufacturers have realized that future generations might want the service that you get from owning a car, but they don't feel the emotional need to fully own it. They'll upgrade cars the same way they upgrade phones. So car companies will have to service, repair, and monitor their cars, make repairs more cost effective, upgrade cars to make them last longer. These things are business decisions, but they all need digital transformation to drive them, right? From how we monitor data from vehicles to scheduling maintenance to even tracking inventory. The aim here isn't to make the car industry more productive, it's to drive fundamental change in its business philosophy. I see governments looking at how experiences work in the consumer world. How in the consumer world they use knowledge bases and chatbots and mobile clients, and taking those ideas and turning that into citizen applications. The same happens with healthcare. People start looking at different ways to work with patients. They start to introduce patient portals or automate processes like clinician onboarding and medical asset management. And actually this area has been interesting for us because what happened in the last 18 months is we saw all these new use cases arrive. We had the city of Los Angeles asking us how we could help them with COVID testing applications. And we've had health services in Scotland, Germany, and America coming to us to talk about how we could do vaccine management as well. So again, transforming the process with the application of technology. And for me, we're at a tipping point with digital transformation. The way we use technology will increase the areas that it's applied to. So as work becomes more distributed, for example, technologies like blockchain will become more important. Now you see we have so much data, almost unlimited compute power and ubiquitous network access, the rate of transformation is set to accelerate. But I think there's also a fear, an underlying concern that automation is going to remove jobs. But that only happens if we allow it to happen. The application of technology should be seen as a liberator. The capability to free up time, to improve situations, to develop new opportunities, and maybe even gain new skills. And this was also a fear in the past. But when things like physical robots entered the manufacturing world, manufacturers took care to see how they could improve productivity, but still keep the skills that the human workforce had. So in 2007, Hyundai created robot keepers by taking the assembly workers and training them to maintain and operate the robots that were helping in production. And BMW also did exactly the same thing. See, the last 10 years, digital transformation has changed so many things for us. The way we consume media, the way we use transportation, even the way we date and meet people. And in the eyes of your children, this will be the way it's always been. They will assume that you've always been able to order food online, always been able to watch any movie that you want whenever you want it, always been able to know exactly where your friends are. And the interesting thing is that all this technology actually drives new experiences. So let me tell you why that's interesting. It's because digital transformation isn't really about technology. It's about experience. It's about creating places that are better to work in, giving people better opportunities, developing new ways of working, new ways of governing, and understanding that the way you interact with your customers. So I smiled when I saw that a lot of your thematic tracks were called DigitalX, be that infrastructure or work or government, because I also talk about DX a lot. But when I talk about it, I think about it being digital experience as much as digital transformation. The world is opening a whole new spectrum of possibilities now. And many of these are driven by the desire to transform. But next time you think about transformation, don't think so much about the technology. Think about the experience that the technology creates. for the employees or the citizens or the patients or the customers or the operators. Because that change in experience, that is the true transformation that really happens. Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Dave, for the awesome presentation. I hope that everyone hearing this will remember that DX, digital experience, by and for the people, is what digital is really all about. Next, we will be digging into emerging technologies with our second keynote on DLT, Distributed Ledger Technology. I'm delighted to introduce David Rudder, the founder and chief executive officer of R3. David is the mastermind behind a company that provides enterprise technology and services. These enable direct digital collaboration in regulated industries where trust is really, really critical. David Rudder, take it away.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Mr. Asagawa, for inviting me to speak. Your opening remarks set the perfect tone for our broader discussion today. I'm David Rudder, the founder and CEO of enterprise software and services firm R3. At R3, we believe that digital development is driving a once-in-generation paradigm shift for businesses across Asia and the Pacific, and I'm honored to share with you some of the exciting work we've been doing in your region. Blockchain technology, digital assets, CBDCs, and other cutting-edge innovations such as confidential computing, which at R3 we refer to collectively as digital trust technologies, are disrupting and transforming regulated markets to meet the needs of the new digital economy. As a result, the worlds of traditional and decentralized finance are edging closer together. As some of you may not be familiar with R3, I'd like to begin by briefly introducing our company and our enterprise blockchain platform, Corda. Working alongside the world's leading financial institutions in 2015, R3 made a conscious decision to leverage blockchain technology to solve real business problems in the complex and highly regulated markets. We recognized that there wasn't a blockchain platform that could solve them at one time. So we built one from the ground up, and it is, of course, called Corda. In a world of permissionless blockchain platforms, in which all the data is shared with all parties, Corda's unique privacy models allows businesses to transact securely and seamlessly while reducing transaction and recording costs and streamlining business operations. Corda is now the only multi-party application development platform purpose-built for highly regulated industries. It's used by thousands of developers around the world to build applications known as Corda.